Ajax are a team that I've only really rebuilt in the last 2 years when they've started the seasons off horribly. And despite them technically being rebuilds, I've had really good players to use. And after all, the Dutch side are one of the biggest deliverers of European talent all over the world, as you just saw Matthijs de Ligt, Mazraoui, 2 players. Don't know why I've said 2 Man United ones. And it's got me thinking, if they can produce such good talent, what if I gave them failed talent? Could they get them up to scratch again? As I'm going to take over in the Dutch league once more, and I am only allowed to sign players that have failed wonderkids or a little past it, hoping to take the Dutch boys further than their run a few years ago and to the Champions League title, whilst also reviving careers. Yes, people, here we go with Ajax. Of course, I can keep some of the players already here in this team. I'm very excited to get going with it. We've got a 19-year-old, a 22, Berghaus, who's very experienced. Tutalo's relatively young. We've got Bas next to Yoriel Hato. I love this team, man. But we've also got a failed wonderkid off the bat in Rugani, who didn't work out at Juventus. Then Traore, you could say, is failed because he had a go at Chelsea as a young Wijnal didn't work. We've got Weghorst, not at Man United no more. And we've got 29 million euros, should be favourite for the title, as that's why I picked Ajax. But don't think I'm going for an easy rebuild. I thought if I picked a team that should finish high in their league, we can take worse players to hopefully grow them if they're winning titles. More than they should actually grow. Henderson is at the team. Don't think I'll be using you, Jordan. Sorry about that. The English ex-captain. I think Brian Brobby can stay, although I do want to look for some failed wonderkids over the players that are currently here because we want to try and complete the challenge using as many failed players as possible. As we'll sort the formation out, then we'll go for the first player because I've definitely got one in mind. And in all honesty, I think we were pretty sorted with the formation already. I'm gonna add a cam into the mix because I want to be attacking. We should be winning this league, in my opinion anyway, as this is the shape we're going for. And the first position I do want to sign will be on this left wing. Now Mika Götze, he's brilliant, but I think in the future he could try and replace Berghaus, who's 32. Also, I am going to put Rugani into this team. I think he's only a loan deal. And I'm also going to try Traore and Wijnal because they've seemed pretty failed when they have played outside of Europe as a player currently playing outside of it. And I can't believe I have never used this guy in career mode up to date. Alan St. Maximan, but unfortunately, he was on loan season 1. This man was one to watch when he was at Nice, when he was at Newcastle, and he will be glued to my shortlist because I'm definitely coming back for that skill man. As in the meantime, I've chosen a formation with a cam, so it would make sense to get one. In this man, Amin Harit, he's currently at Marseille, but when he was at Schalke, this man was hailed as a king. Or he was by me when I played career mode because his rating was so high, but then Schalke went all the way down, so now he's over at Ajax and hopefully will have a good season, but he's a Moroccan, not a Dutchman. And it would feel kind of guilty for me not to sign a Dutch player to start off with. Being a Dutch team, as I remember this guy's card at AZ Alkmaar, Bazoer on FIFA, he used to look like he was the next big thing, but since sold to Turkey, so now he's coming back to the Dutch league to hopefully replace Rugati once he leaves the club at the end of his loan deal. And I've made a choice surrounding him as, not good. 4th in the Eredivisie, not where we want to be. We want to be winning the league each season. PSV, only 1 defeat. Shows we've got a long way to go. Plus, we need to sign failed players, so we technically should be getting worse, but still, gotta hope for results. Elsewhere, as at least we get one here with the Oranje Becker, beating that 1 defeated team in Eindhoven. That is our first trophy in the cabinet, so at least Harit's proving worthy. As firstly, the Europa League, this is the trophy we were in. I think we do get into this next year, maybe even the conference. We crashed into a playoff round where we did beat Slavia Praha before losing to Fenerbahce, where of course we want to sign that player from. Hopefully he still wants to join. I want to see the slick footwork of St. Maximan. My namesake, of course, as this is our current starting 11. Bazoer has played, Wijnal and Traore. Also, Götze has improved a lot. The left-hand side, which is the youngsters. Unfortunately, not what we're going for. We're going for training the failed wonder kids. Harit's done fine for himself. Bazoa, 77. It is not bad improvement, and I decided to loan Josip Sutalo. Gave him to Ange Postecoglou because he needs all the help he can get, as I was hoping Tottenham Hotspur would up his rating a little bit more, so we could have come back when Rugani's gone. That is a like-for-like swap. It gave Bazoa some game time this season, as our top scorer is actually our centre mid, Kenneth Taylor, 17 goals, which isn't bad at all. Of course, we've only got 2 failed wonder kids. We need a lot more in this team, and we're going to try and get a lot more. But do you know what else we want more of? Subscribers, because we're on the race to 60,000 at the moment, and if you could leave a like. Also a comment if you do want to tell me which videos to come in the future, as now we have a lot more players back. We've got Souza, Axel, we've got Rigir, we've got Apcom, who could be considered a failed wonder kid. He didn't work out at Ajax here in the first place, and I think he's failed also at Arsenal, also at Middlesbrough. It's perfect as our bench striker. I think I am going to still trust Robbie for the moment, as in this team it is simple, where we need to sign only 2 positions: centre mid for Henderson and goalkeeper for our retiree, and then also the left wing. Gotts is doing brilliantly, but I've got a man in mind. I've had him in mind since the bloody start. So maybe Gotts goes straight away. After all, we can make a lot of money on him, methinks, and then Axel Dronken can probably be the backup alongside Carlos Forbes, who kind of failed at Wolverhampton. Really bad season for Wolves, which saw them sack a manager. But we've only got to focus on ourselves here. We've got 53 million euros. However, the facts are the facts around transfers. No offer for Gotts just yet. Only for Joriel Hato, and I don't really know any left backs worthy of coming into our team, and I guess I'm just going to go with my first option. He's not the centre mid we need, but Alan Saint-Maximin. Been dying to get some use for him for ages on career mode, so finally here, yes, granted it is under the failed title, we get to use him. He is the same rating as Mika Gotts though, and I'm hoping he just plays, as I am going to change our formation here to this one, the 4-2-4, adding another striker, so we can put Akpom into the team. He's a failed wonder kid I wanted to use. Harit now drops into the midfield. We'll change his position shortly next to Taylor. Our goal scorer means we don't have to sign a centre mid, leaving the rest of the money for a goalkeeper, but we do need to find a failed one, and unfortunately in the failed saves, Kepa has already been taken as an option. So what if we did a weird thing here, go to Manchester United and beg for this player back? Onana started off at Ajax, and recently for Man United, clanger after clanger. If you saw his spat with Matic, really did embarrass himself, and we need a little extra cash to just sign him, so I'm going to sell Berghaus to bring this man back to Ajax, where he can hopefully revive himself. And well, +2 in his first season back at the old club. Not bad, Andre Onana, not bad at all, but not as good as Bazoa. Now 29 but 80 rated. We've got Wijnal still on the come up. We've got Harit better as a centre mid. And we've got a very decent striker in Propi. Then we've got the captain Taylor, who scored a lot of goals last season. We've got Saint-Maximin. This squad's trying to take shape with some incredible increases of ratings, but I just want to use the old players more, like Traore, who's a little bit failed. Bazoa and Akpom could be better, only scoring 9 goals. Kenny Taylor got 22, but Alan Saint-Maximin, 26 and 15 assists. He's the star of the show here, and he's the whole reason I really thought of this rebuild, or thought of doing another one of these failed wonder kid ones, as that's a lot better. In the league, it is second place, 3 defeats, the same as PSV. We lost the league drawing a game, which we shouldn't have done. We needed a win. Our goal difference was even better, and although we didn't get Champions League last season, we did at least get a trophy as we lose in the Orange Becker finale. Overall, not good for Ajax. We definitely needed a win, and we needed a win in the Europa League, because last season we didn't do too great, and we haven't done too great here. Again, like the league, it's the draws that have cost us, as one draw puts us into the playoffs. We snuck in there, and then we beat Lugano before hammering Lionel. That shows we're actually growing as a club, slowly but surely, as the Napoli beat us in the quarters, the eventual winners of the competition beating their fellow Italian Juventus. No real shame in that. After all, I keep saying it, we are improving. Slowly but surely. I think it's the motto of this entire video. We got the keeper that we needed. The winger, we didn't need the centre mid because we changed to using a striker and Akpom is 30. So yes, we still could use one of those because we haven't got a good one on the bench. We've got Gott still here on the reserve pile and then loads of decent centre mids. Could do with another keeper as well. We could do with basically anyone. As in terms of failed players, I'd only say half of the team is actually failed. However, the ones that aren't failed are some of the best players in the team like Brian Bobby, Taylor, and Hatto, who is playing left back. I really want to keep these guys around just to have a little bit of quality here, because the next player that I signed really didn't have quality when he made his big move. I'm talking about this man, a free agent at the moment, Sebastian Haller. As my aim for this window is simple, I want to bring in 2 extra strikers to turn that stupid draw from last season into a win in the league. I want to be winning this title before we win the Champions League title. And I'm sure Sebastian Haller's been here before at Ajax. As I'm trying to see what all the players look like who are wingers as strikers. Traore might not work for me. Carlos Forbes could work. The Portuguese, but my next 2 players in mind are also from Portugal. The first one I have previously mentioned in a failed wonderkid video, Andre Silva of Leipzig. Now, he didn't work out at Milan at all, costing a lot of money for some reason, as we've got to watch our budgets, because only £24 million left for our other Portuguese. And my backup goalie I want, as I've missed a few offers for Mika Götze, but the highest one was from Brighton, so Brighton is where he will fly to. Fits perfectly for me. I'm gonna let him go without any issues. Nicely topping up the bank, as this man is the other Portuguese, Romario Barro. Now, he's been at Porto most his career and should have left pretty sooner, I thought. He looks like the next Renato Sanchez, as the next player we bring in is the backup goalkeeper named Jack Butland. As all I've got to say about this man is FIFA 17. FIFA 17 was the moment we all found out the power of Butland in Ultimate Team, and then he had a career kind of going down a little bit, as this team's not going down at all. Our joint highest rated player, Andre Onana. Now he's 31 with Brian Brobby. Then we've also got Saint Maximan. We've also got improvement out of Bazoa, further than I could ever have expected in this career mode, because look at the increases in the players. We've really had a good season this year. Maybe going for the Champions League. That will be really good of this squad. As our top scorer is not Brobby, 2 failed wonderkids in Maximan and Silva. The man who couldn't score goals at Milan, hence why he ended up at Leverkusen, now ends up at Ajax, and that is exactly where we needed to be. 15 points clear. Eindhoven second by a landslide. We have finally won the Eredivisie, finally getting what we needed and what we should have always had. That's good. The trophy in our cabinet. However, the Oranje Becker this year, a 2-0 defeat for PSV over Feyenoord, because we crashed out to them on penalties. But if you were going to ask me, I would rather win the league over the cup. We've already won the cup. However, it's this league I really wanted to win, and I know we're only 15th, but there's Manchester City, Bayern Munich, and Liverpool all surrounding us. At least it wasn't 5 draws, as there we go. We hammered Olympique Marseille before getting on to Napoli, last year's Europa League winners and the team to knock us out of it. And then we beat Liverpool by 1-0. We're reaching the Champions League semi-finals. Oh, but Barcelona, they actually had to come back against us to beat us. Oh my days. But the improvement of the team this year, absolutely extraordinary. And how do we get any more failed wonder kids? Well, I guess we start on the budget of £86 million, or euros even, but do we really need that money? We've already seen the team, and the bench is extremely solid. I mean, Fitzjim we didn't even think of, but he's already an 80 at 23, showing the improvement that we've come at. So we've got to find some fringe players somewhere. Or shall we just go really niche? Shall we search for them actual failures? Even if they won't become squad members, I'm going to talk you through each individual one, starting with the small man Arthur. Now, we all know his days at Liverpool. Well, we know them for not knowing them because he only played one reserve game under Jurgen Klopp, although I don't think it was because it was coached by the reserve manager. Then we've got Kevin Belanta, if this is the correct man I'm remembering. Hopefully it is. He was a powerhouse at Club Bruges over in the Pro League, and sadly no one took a chance on him. So yes, he's not the greatest player, but he's going to join us anyway because vibes. And then the final player, Anel Admenhozic, I'm shocked, is at Watford. Before his move to Sheffield United, he was an upcoming wonder kid, who I'm very shocked has joined us, because I can't believe I had to pay 20 million for a player only putting pen to paper on a 1-year contract. 70k a week, may I add, for a player that's just going to sit on our bench. As now I am looking at the first team, and I think I'm remembering another player we could go for. This is a technicality player because he really isn't a failure, but he did get kicked out of his boyhood club, Scott McTominay. And maybe if we really try, we could convert this guy into another centre-back. As here he is, Scott McTominay. We've been training him all season. I think it only took him 2 weeks. Oh my days, and an 86 rating is extraordinary, +7, and he does need to sign a new contract. All them players we literally just signed only wanted 1-year deals. Everyone using Ajax as a stepping stone when we want to be Champions League winners. Is it only me who believes in this contract? As to be fair, McTominay can go in the team. Bazoa is 31, so he's older and he's a rating less than McTominay, and he goes. But could Bazoa actually go in the back line? No. He cannot. I'm going to change that back over in a minute. But I first want to zoom in on the 91 rated Alan Saint-Maximin. A lot of mentioning Ultimate Team in today's video, but if that was a card, that would be an extreme one, because that would be 5-star, 5-star, and extremely fun to use. However, in the Eredivisie, monumental drop-off. We finished 3rd with the 90 ratings. PSV go back to the top. It is a shame, but at least we've got a trophy. Biranhe Becker is won again, but still I'd rather have that league title. Despite putting a trophy in the cabinet, an over sense of disappointment really flowing through me, as we do have a good Champions League campaign. 4th with Leverkusen, Arsenal and Dortmund all above us, meaning it's straight to the round of 16, and we got Hoffenheim, who we hammered. Good win right there. There's a couple of failed wonder kids over at that side, and then Milan 4-1, so we are going to reach a semi-final again. Back to back, and this time we actually go and win it to draw Arsenal in the finale. But if I'm not wrong, there was an injury in the team. Brian Bobby, but he's now fit again. Thank the Lord we can actually play him, because if not, it would have been an ex-Arsenal player in Akpom starting. And that would not have been ideal, since he got chucked out of Arsenal's academy ages ago. As our top scorer this season was Silver, and then Saint again. As we're in the kit I really like. I know I've got a kit on currently of Ajax's, but this blue one just looks so nice, as we need to get a win here. Saint-Maximin and Hato on one side of this wing. That was going to be a very fun challenge. Get the skill moves out early doors, and hopefully out of my system, because it was a very bad move from him. But here he is again, called Maxi. I love that. And he's just ran straight into Declan Rice, who gives us the ball back now. And Declan Rice was really good against Real Madrid. Wrong ball, should have gone through the middle, as Harris hits it down low. Testing David Raya immediately, as now Taylor, I'm sure one of our players just got took down. It's Kenneth Taylor testing Palmer again. Or not Palmer. I've just watched Ipswich Town. It's actually David Raya, as we're going to try a corner tactic. Back post, Scott McTominay. Terrible header. Terrible header, as now Wijnal into Traore again. We're going to try and go out the long way. Just go around the houses with this. Can we finally get an attack off through the middle? We'll try with Andre Silva, who is our top scorer. He has an option at the side of him in Brian Bobby, not making a good run. Andre Silva was dancing. Lingard always used to say playing Arsenal is like playing on a dance floor, and that was almost proved with that move there, as Adley gets a little gap through. Bukayo Saka probably should have had a shot. It's over to Gabriel Martinelli. He fails to make the net ripple, as now Odegaard onto Barella. That's a good little quick pass through the middle. Need to be better, because Arsenal creeping into this. Our wonder kids have failed for a reason. Hopefully we don't fail and crumble at the latter stages. of the Champions League like last year. Andre Silva with no pace. And the man that should have it in Saint-Maximin just not making a decent run. He still should have the pace at an old age, as now he does. He's got the number 4 to try and beat. He could shoot, but he turns him inside out, and now he will shoot against Raya. The second touch was horrible, leaving them to get a decent chance, but now Scott McTominay just past normal. I thought the referee was one of our players. That's why I tried to pass it there, as now Alan Saint-Maximin. Let's try not skill here. Put it across the box into Andre Silva. 1-0 to the Amsterdam team. Ajax with the failed wonder kids. It is a cracking ball across, and that's what happens when you don't try the skills. You just play it normally. Brilliant pass into the back of the net, which with 8 minutes left could have been the last action of the game, and it is. Arsenal putting up a dogfight, but not winning this one. The Battle of the A's is won by Ajax in what can only be described as a failed wonder kid triumph for once, as Kenneth Taylor, being one of our best players in the simulations, lifts the trophy, which I never thought I'd see Andre Onana stood next to, apart from when he was runners-up with Inter. As if you have enjoyed the failed wonder kids, keep some suggestions going, because I've got a list, but the list's now getting shorter. I'd like to see what you guys have in stock, and of course, if you do want to see any other videos, comment them down below, or click on the screen and click that subscribe button.